cheat death. There are no escapes.
Bullshit. You told me death has a distinct design. But Alex and I cheated death not once, but dozens of times.
Could you be a little quieter with that thing, please?
Yeah, sure. I'll just put it on quiet mode.
That would be good.
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is a movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching. And the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Really hope you enjoyed last week's interview with the man that created and started the Final Destination franchise. And when it comes to the second one, he has his fingerprints all over this, the log truck scene that freaks everyone out, and so much more. Jeffrey Reddick. I love talking to him. It was so much fun hearing about how this idea was a spec script for X-Files. His friends at New Line said, no. You have to write that into a feature. And the rest is history. Great time chat with him. I really hope that obviously the writer's strike, the actor's strike, everybody gets together and they get what they need. So then Jeffrey can direct his slasher in the next few months. But yeah, great interview. You got to make sure you check that out. But yeah, now we're back to horror and Final Destination 2. And before I talk about any of the craziness that happens in this movie that I love, I have introduced you to my partner in this sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Doug. How are you doing?
Great. This was great. Great times do it. Like a great movie. Like this was one of my favorite sequels. If I really think back, this is like junior year of high school, sophomore year of high school. Great. This movie is just so much fun. Just first impressions from you. Obviously, I want to hear your full verdict on it, but was this a breath of fresh air? Because I feel like you were like having ulcers during the last like 3 or 4 movies.
Well, okay. So I've already seen this movie, and I didn't remember it except for I think the same scene that every single person remembers of this one of the logs. So I remember that scene. I've seen the first one. I've seen this one, and I think the third one has the car with the wheels, that the car race, the Indy.
Maybe, yeah,
one of those,
or the roller coaster.
So I remember
is
this
that
movie.
Our horror sequel exes putting up 4 fingers. So the race is the 4th one. The 3rd is the roller coaster.
Okay, so then I've seen all 4 of them. So you know what? It is a breath of fresh air because I feel like we were stumbling down a bad path of bad movies, movies that I struggle to get through, and this movie was quite enjoyable. I did like this movie. I remember it liking it. I think this is I think this franchise gets is underrated. I think it's a good franchise. Doesn't mean I don't have questions regarding it.
Oh, I have a lot of questions. Yeah.
But it was very enjoyable to watch.
All right,
which
great.
I find weird to say because it's disgusting. There's a lot of disgusting deaths.
Yeah. But it's good looking. Like it's really good. And so it's great because we're doing a horror movie. Got to bring back our horror sequel expert. And it's gonna be hard to think of all of them. But I think I was thinking about it beforehand. He was like one of our first early guests. Chainsaw Massacre, Leatherface, the 3rd one, Fly 2, Pandemic hits, and then it's really just covering. He did so much. Hellraiser, the chess Hellraiser, that one. He did Friday the 13th Part 4.
We're getting to the point.
It's hard to remember.
7 degrees of Chris Egan.
7 degrees of Chris Egan. But I can't think of any. All the other ones right now. Oh, Return to Sleepaway Camp. Yeah, Classic. Yeah. Grizzly 2.
Yep.
Pinching the butts. Yeah.
And the last one I did was The Predator.
The Predator
movie.
Wow.
That was the last one I did. Over a
Kid
year
murder.
Ago.
Yeah.
Well, that was probably your only non-horror. Because it's not really a horror movie. It's more science fiction.
Sci-fi horror. I count.
The kid has more kills than the one Predator. Jacob Tremblay.
Pretty much.
Yep. And Chris Egan. Chris, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Tired. I'm a dad now. Since the last time I was on.
Yeah, look at that.
Congratulations.
Things have changed.
Yeah, it's been a while. So she just hit 10 months old. So we can gauge how long it's been since I've been here.
Yeah. Our kids are like
good.
right around the same age, Jack and little
a
Egan.
few weeks apart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So
very cool.
Awesome.
And, life's a little different.
Have you started her on the horror movies yet?
Oh, she's seen some shit.
Well, you know what? So have I in this podcast. So we're
No, you know what? I'm always up early. So even when my wife was home on maternity leave, I would still typically be like the first one up because she would do like. Long story short, once we were kind of past like the 8 feedings throughout the night, I would be the first one up to give the baby the first bottle of the day. So, I'd get up, I'd throw something on, she'd be on my lap, and sometimes it was The Simpsons, and sometimes it was Terrifier.
Well, let me ask you this: is your wife trying to tell you she can't watch those movies? She's too young, or she doesn't care?
I think. Well, now that she's
or
like
she
10
doesn't
months
know.
old. Oh no, she knows. but a lot of times it's like I have her on like we have the playmat out and I've got the toys and her back is to the TV, and I just have something on just to keep me occupied while I'm
Hostel 2.
So she only hears the screams. She doesn't see the gore.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or pop that earbud in. That's what I do sometimes. I'm like, Jack, you don't need to watch this.
But now she's hitting 10 months. She's really, she's aware of things a lot more than she was at 2 months, and she's like a blob.
So she's ready for Texas Chainsaw now.
Oh yeah, maybe by the summer. That's a good summer movie. We're almost there.
So I started with Munchie. My daughter loves Munchie. She still talks about Munchie, and we watch it like once a year. Good stuff. But yeah. So this movie, man, if you really, I'm shocked that not that it took too long to make another one after the first one. It's just that in the movie, I don't remember it being like that a year apart. Like you get like that Larry King-ish intro to the movie. And one thing I was disappointed with was the quick title card. I would have thought you'd have that big, obviously like the accident scene, which we'll get into. But from there, then you have like Final Destination 2. But they really got to it, man. I haven't got a good title, like pre-title card scene in a long time.
How many years apart are the movies?
2, I think, right?
Oh,
I think.
You said you were surprised at how long it took to make it. That's only 2 years.
2 or 3 years.
I think it's almost 4 because the first one's 99, right?
Oh, it is 99. Yes. So this one's so it's 4 years.
This is why our horror expert is here.
He's
going to correct us. Good.
Yes. No, but 4 years. It seems like, and the first one was a hit.
Okay, sorry, 3 years. The first one's 2000. They were shooting it in 99, which overlaps with some other movies that came out at the time.
All right.
That's why 99.
Let me ask you this. So this is a question that I had because I don't remember the first one, and I need to ask the horror expert because unless Doug knows too, but premonition is a big part of both movies. Do they explain why they have those?
No. It's
all right. They just randomly have
blind fate. This person happens to have a premonition. And then I feel like because I rewatched the first in preparation of the second because it's been so long since I'd seen any of them, and I totally forgot that. I guess it's in both movies that the person that has the main premonition ends up having little visions throughout the rest of the movie. So I forgot that, but I was like, oh, so once you have like the big one, now you're like, I guess you're tuned in. And now you're having these other premonitions tied to what could happen next.
Let me ask you this, because I only noticed it once, but I probably missed it all the other deaths. There was a clue on how the first one was going to die.
I know, dude. I think that was the only one.
Okay.
There was words for the other ones that made sense. There was like little things, but that one was so cool.
That one it stood out, and I when we get to that part, I told my daughter, I'm like, that must mean something, and obviously it did. And I was like, all right, that's going to be cool. Let me look out for these clues next time. And I didn't see anything the rest of the movie. So unless I missed it. So
unless you count the guy that was doing bumps of cocaine throughout the movie, somehow he was seeing a premonition in the shadows, which that one, dude, that death, we'll get into that.
Wait, and you're going to trust anything from this guy who's been high the entire movie?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So we're talking about the the shadow clue.
The shadow.
Because they
a
all
man
see
with
it.
hooks. A man with a lot of hooks.
Because he
What
sees
was
it,
that
but
guy
then
doing?
The rest of them do
What
see
was-
it.
Okay,
Yeah,
that
they
was a
do.
creep. He was a
Oh,
creep. I mean,
We'll get to
that was
to
creepy.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah. I would get
let's
right
get-
out. But so then we get the beginning of the movie that is kind of explaining the first movie in a way. Like it's basically like Democrat, Republican in a sense. It's these two people on this issue, the opposite sides, talking about, so you're believing this, and this girl, our main character, Kimberly, she's it's so cool when you watch these movies, especially when you see what her clock was, where she saw the time, or we saw the time was like that old VCR sitting on top of the TV, that like green, like neonish letters on top. And it's like this Larry King-ish type interview show at 1:00 in the morning, like explaining like everything to get you
But-
set up for the movie.
We've said this in so many movies that, like when there's been disasters that's happened, you would think everybody knows about it, or like a murder spree, and people have no clue about Michael Myers, even though he's killed people how many times. This is the first movie. There were bizarre deaths and a major plane crash, and the people in this movie never heard of it.
Well, they did. No, they all know
No,
about it.
some of them didn't, because they were explaining the story of it. So a lot of like the mother didn't know with the son. She had no clue.
Oh yeah. Well, she is pretty clueless, I think.
Well, I mean, but the fact that like this is something you would think that would be all over the news. I mean, Flight Malaysia, was missing, and everybody knew about it. I mean, so you would think a plane crash and people dying, bizarre accidents, you're going to hear about it.
I thought it was more of like they knew about the plane crash, but they didn't know about the weird deaths afterwards. Because if you think of it that way, then like you don't know, like you guys, Doug and Jamie, you don't hear about every death that occurs. Like
You
an
don't, but if
accident
you're gonna
or
die, but if you're gonna
suicide or-
die bizarre ways, and this movie and the first one, you die bizarre ways, it's the news are gonna cover it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
so
this
I
one
mean,
covers it. This one covers
I know.
it in like 15 minutes.
in
The one
15
girl-
minutes. Yeah,
The one
yeah.
girl dies, and we in the audience know it, but then they see it on the news in like no time. It's like breaking news.
Yeah.
Which that scene we have a lot of questions about. So
And-
yeah.
The reaction of everybody, I mean, there doesn't seem to be a lot of remorse or like it's a quick like shock, and everybody like acts like nothing happened the next scene after that. And
well,
again,
during the scene, the one guy will get into it, but
Yeah.
his line was, "Here, take my truck." Not any like sort of panic
Yeah.
or anything.
no,
But no.
Okay.
But what's cool is the wrinkle that's added, but that Jeffrey was able to get into this movie that ties back to the first one, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so let's get this going. So how about like the girl's friend? So dude, this whole beginning scene is so great. If my daughter had a friend like this, and
Okay.
she's talking about like condoms or I'm getting horny,
How about the fact that this looks like the most fun highway you'll ever see? Because every car, one car is drinking, one car's doing coke, one woman's flashing.
Yes!
There's literally everything going on this one highway in this one little area. Like
and the road
that's the
is,
highway that if you're going down the shore, that's the highway you want to take.
and the,
it's
and
like
the road
one
is
party after another.
inexplicably wet.
yeah,
The road is
which
wet.
which it's very wet and looks like there was no sign of rain at all.
Yeah, no.
And
I mean,
the amount of
entire
car
thing
explosions
just-
in this movie is ridiculous.
the entire thing just screams pile up. Like
Oh,
yeah.
if I ever
ridiculous.
was on the
And-
highway and I saw any like one of those things, I'd be like, I'm taking the next exit and we'll hit up somewhere else.
oh, absolutely. Or the fact that, first of all, it looks like no one knows how to drive well in this movie
Yep.
because everybody who drives crashes into something throughout the whole movie.
yeah.
Even the cop car at one point later on the farm or whatever pulls as he's parking. He punctures the gas tank.
Oh no, that was the news guy. That was the
Okay,
news
okay,
van
all right, the news
guy.
guy. Okay,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like no one knows how to drive well. So
Oh,
okay.
no one. And everybody was carrying jet fuel in their trunk like Kirsty's girlfriend in Death Wish 3.
Yeah.
The way some of those vehicles explode. Oh my
Yeah.
God, dude. But so this movie, which the sequence that people know that we're talking about is the car crash, the big pileup on the highway. Now, the director of this movie, former stuntman, I have his name here, David R. Ellis. Big time stunt guy. This is the second movie he ever directed. Can you guys guess the movie he directed before this? It was like 10 years before. Just a random guess. Is there anything out there?
Howard the Duck.
Wow. You are not close because that was not 10 years before, but you're thinking weird, which I like. Egan?
Oh, man. I'm sure
Labyrinth.
I knew at one point. No. 1990-ish.
Michael
Can you
J.
give us
Fox.
a genre?
Michael J. Fox's.
Oh, was it like
Casualties of War.
Was it Life with Mikey or whatever that movie is?
Homeward Bound 2. I think he was still a voice in the sequel.
he was a voice of one of them.
Yep.
So he directed a stunt guy. First movie after doing stunts. Like if you look at his stunt list, like all like badass movies. And Homeward Bound 2 is the first movie he does.
So he taught the animals to do the stunt work in the movie?
He did. He got on all fours. He dressed like a dog. He wore a suit. But no, just his credits are like unbelievable. Like, you look at his stunt credits, it's like all these movies, you're like, holy shit, this is awesome. And then it's like so funny to see that his first like directing movie is that. And then they liked him so well in this one that he did the Final Destination, which was the fifth one, I believe, that came out in like 2011.
That's the fourth one.
That's the fourth one.
Yeah.
So then it's crazy that only the fifth one's going to be coming out next. That's crazy.
No, the sixth one is coming out next.
So when's the fifth one from?
2011. The fourth one is 2009.
So the fourth one's called the Final Destination?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And are they all connected?
Yes. They're all connected. It's all like one universe. It's been a while since I've seen 3 and 4. I don't know if they have any direct links the way like 2 has direct character links to 1 and such. But they're all like in the same universe.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
There's other movies that are at Cellular, Snakes on a Plane.
Oh, he did.
Oh, he directed those?
Yeah.
Cellular is,
I like how he goes from like a children's movie to like gore, like right after that.
Death.
I mean, this movie, I mean, is pretty gross. I mean, some of these deaths.
Oh yeah, that's what I think about with this movie.
Well, yeah, and you know what's great is like they tease you so many times for each death. Like you're right, you're looking at one thing, you're like, all right, here it is. No, it's not gonna be that thing, or like it's they give you like 3 teases and then the big death that you don't even expect.
And they do that
out of the blue.
They do that with all of them.
All of them.
Every movie.
It's great.
It's like, oh, he's gonna drown. Nope, he's gonna fall down and a fork's gonna go up his ass or something like that.
Let me tell you something. That'd be a way to go. Fork going up your ass. I mean, that's
bleeding out.
Oh man.
Well, yeah. So then we get them going onto the highway. They're all cruising to Daytona, and I'm pretty sure they're in the tri-state area now. Because when she's looking at a map, when she pulls up MapQuest in a scene, which is like, come on, she's looking at MapQuest and she's actually like going down. So they're driving pretty far to Daytona for everyone to be looking like they're partying going onto this highway.
Yep.
So that's a pretty far drive to just be like casually like, yeah, Daytona.
I find
they're definitely like in the New York area because the first movie, the plane explosion is at JFK.
Yeah.
And these people are supposed to live somewhat nearby.
Well, here's, we talk about bad parenting in like all our movies. And I feel that right in the beginning, this girl has a call with her father who tells her you need to get something checked in the car. It's leaking.
Yeah. The transmission is leaking.
Why would he allow his daughter to take that car if he knew it was leaking? Obviously she's driving far. So like, I mean, like
he sees the stain.
Yeah.
And he kind of like shrugs his shoulders at it, but you're like, that's not water. It's like a red stain. It's clearly it's clearly.
And he says, "Can you get it checked as soon as you can?" Really? She's going on a trip, a couple hours away with like a car full of people.
16-hour drive from New York, maybe.
But no, I'm going to let you take that. Yeah. So awful decision by the father.
Yeah. Yep. And the friend, you'll be fine.
We know they have.
Yeah, the emergency light comes on, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Jesus. And then we see it's cool that's what's great about these scenes because you see all the people and you're like, who are we going to see later? Like, who's going to be the ones that, like, you had the boob chick, you had the hot business like chick who's been in like a bunch of other stuff. And she's calm, cool, and collective, right? The stoner guy's nervous because the cop's behind him. He flicks the roach because he's nervous. I guess it's so funny, like the way they do these like character things. Like when they set up her car, they're like, she's so businessy. She can't even take the dry leaves from the front of her car. Which didn't it just rain? Shouldn't they be wet?
First of all, it looked like there was dog crap on her car. Like when she turned it on, it was like a chunk of something that flew off there. Yeah,
I figured it was like leaves. It was his like joint, and I
and
figured
just lit it up, and she was fine with
the
it.
wiper blades, right?
Yeah,
she's using the wiper, and then she looks at him and she's smoking.
The ash. She smudges the ash from his joint across the windshield.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
she's
she's
cool.
got like
She's
her
like,
giant like she's got like her giant like Virginia Slims like hanging.
It is party central on that highway. It's literally, I mean, it's ridiculous. Like I couldn't believe they literally had every trope of a car driving by.
Yeah. And you know what I like that about these movies? It's because it's to offset the bleakness of them. Because these movies are bleak as hell. You go in, you're like, okay, you know everyone's going to die. Like that's the whole.
Yeah.
Although maybe not, but that's the premise. You know, everyone's supposed to die. So to offset that, I feel like they really lean into this like campy, almost like over amplified, like over heightened reality, aside from like, you know, what you get later with like death coming for them, but like even like the humor and stuff, like people don't act this way for the most part. Like it's really weird, like dialogue and weird reactions to things.
Very weird reactions to things, like you know, even when they're in, like, you know, they're all huddled together at the cop's house or whatever, whoever's house that was. They all seem like, I mean, like agitated. Like they're which is amazing because they're trying to save them, and it's like they all have an attitude, like they don't want to be like the reactions they have throughout the movie are just ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely lean into like the characters thinking it's bullshit, which, you know, you're told that okay, I didn't get into a car accident that you claimed I was going to get into, and now I'm going to be taken out. Because it's, you know, my fate.
Yeah, but okay, but I agree with that to an extent. But the minute the first person dies, the BS goes out the window. You know, like I mean, like that should have been like, all right, I don't believe it, but now this guy died a freak way who was also, and she knew that. Yeah, then I start believing.
Yeah, which you kind of get with what's his face? With Eugene, the motorcycle guy
from a Living Single.
Yeah. He goes back and forth in kind of a way that I like, because it's like, I don't believe it. It's too weird. I do believe it because now we've got two dead bodies, or, you know, I like the way he goes back and forth. But the other people, it's
that's
either
realistic.
Like they're all in, like, yes, it's happening, or they're like complaining, like, oh, you're wasting my day. I need to go home.
They didn't, like, how many people died before they had that big meeting, whatever, before the mother? Like, was it only 2 or 3?
It was the kid and the kid and the kid who had
only
the
2. Okay. So now you have the second person. You're still not believing? Like, you know, like, I don't know. Yeah. If I'm in that situation, I think after the second death, and again, 2 bizarre deaths, I believe.
Oh, 100%. And then, like we talked about it, like when they kind of trick you, even in the opening scene, you're trying to think of what's gonna, like the first time you see the movie, it's not like when you see that log truck, you're like, hey, that's gonna be the thing that starts everything. But when you're cutting to the guy doing the coke in his car, the cop's coffee being so full, no lid, and almost like falling on him, and so you're thinking like, what's gonna do it? What's gonna do it? And dude, when you see the chains just dragging, and then when you see that first hit of it, dude, what a great scene. Every death just looks cool. It's not like it's overly gory. Any of this in the movie is not over. Maybe the eyeball, like going through the eye.
Oh, you don't think that the one that got the kid that got squished, that wasn't gross?
Cool.
I think
who ends up in a body bag? He's mush. He's mush.
He's like, it's like a soupy hot pocket in there.
He is, yeah.
But
I think every death is gory because
it is.
Yeah, but not like gross gory. Like it's not. I don't know.
What about the cop in the premonition? Like the log goes through the window and he's mushed too. He's
there's
quick cuts, but there's plenty of blood and viscera.
There's so much creativity in the writing. Like it's to me, it's like a Freddy movie. Like Freddy always has a different kind of kill. Like all these kills are very creative, and I give a lot of props to the writers, because it is a very creative movie.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people
100%.
forget, not just maybe not how creative these are with because my opinion is once you've seen these movies once, you never forget the death scenes.
Oh, 100%. Well, because they're also bizarre.
They're bizarre. They're gross. They're like things that could happen. Aside from some of like the Rube Goldberg machine death antics, but like the logs, like the accident, like the plane blowing up in the first one. Like there's things that are like they could happen. But I don't know. I feel like I think maybe it's some of the later sequels that aren't as good kind of put a damper on how people see the franchise as a whole. But I really do think that people forget how smart these early movies are.
Oh, well, they easily could have taken the easy way out and, have the first kid get electrocuted. They could have taken the easy way out, and they don't. But I can see how the franchise, again, I don't remember the later movies, but how many times can you do the same exact concept, which pretty much, I'm assuming all 6 movies, whatever, are exact same thing. Someone has premonitions, and now they're just trying to avoid death. How many times can you I don't know.
There's a good twist in 5 that holds that one up a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
But 3 is my favorite, just for how fun it is. It's very 80s. It feels like an 80s slasher, but with these same rules. But I'm hearing some inside scoop about 6. It's still going to be a sequel. It's not like a reboot or anything, but they're changing things up. So I'm actually really interested.
Oh, okay.
To see what they do there. There's some
Tony Todd. Please bring back Tony Todd.
Oh, please, yeah. I think he's in all 5. I think.
I was going to say, isn't he in all the movies?
I think so.
So okay, since you mentioned him, this is a guy that basically lives in a morgue, right? He's always there. Like, how does he know all this stuff? Like, is he? Yeah.
I don't understand his character.
Okay.
Right.
I thought that would be okay.
I just rewatched 1 and 2 just to prep for this. I didn't want to rewatch the whole series. I wanted to be fresh with the second one. I didn't want to keep going. But like part 1, I'm like, okay, he's there. He's like kind of the creepy mortician guy. He's like, oh, death's coming but he's in like one scene. So you're like, okay, he's just like a creepy mortician guy. But in this one, he's like, he knows
he lives like in a lair. Like, or he works in a lair.
This one, he's not. He works at like a funeral home. He's more like a crematorium.
Well, no, he was at they were at a cemetery. And so,
that's
like,
what I mean. He wasn't at a morgue again, so he lost that job.
Okay. Well, but he had morgue stuff in that lair that he was in. First of all, the fact that they walk through like a dungeon to get to him, and he has dead bodies where he is. You're making me want to watch the 5th one, Egan.
Yeah, the 5th one's okay. The twist and some other things about it kind of elevated a bit, but
is it a twist in the franchise or just a twist in the movie?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
I'll leave it there for the the listeners that have.
You know what? Maybe I'll try to work on getting someone from the 5th one.
All right, do it.
I'm on it. I'm on it.
I bought the box set for this.
Wait, for the podcast?
Yeah,
that is dedication. Listen, this is why you're here 9 times.
Yeah. You had to pay to rent all of them except the first one, and I was like, oh, I want to rewatch them. I'll just buy the box set for $15 instead of paying $4 maybe to rent it.
All right.
So all the deaths we talked about, like obviously the people carrying jet fuel, the huge explosions, but then the going on. That's what I think I love about the beginning of. I really know the first one, the second one so well from watching them so much. But when you get that, the same things that happen before you see the aftermath is when they sort of wake up. like the can lady comes.
Okay.
Rate. Yeah.
Why is there a can lady on the highway?
Collecting cans, man. There were homeless people in Portland did that.
Really? On the highway?
Cans, money. Oh yeah, dude. On the on ramps, dude. That's the only because you have to stop.
Yeah.
I think you tell this
was
movie was not filmed in New York because New York doesn't have on ramps like that with stop signs. That's like a West Coast thing.
So
Maybe
what was the purpose of the can lady? Just to show that she's
seeing the same things over and over again. Yeah, it was just all the different things. Like hearing the radio saying on Tuesday we'll have the 1-year memorial candlelight vigil for flight, whatever it was. But
it's a distinct person doing a distinct thing that can't really be chalked up to deja vu, like a guy, walking down the side of the highway or something.
Gotcha. Okay.
And her face when she's like doing the next thing, when she highway to hell, she's like highway to hell and she hits the button and it plays and then she blocks. She does a quick K turn, blocks everyone and everybody's like yelling at her. And dude, this scene's so wild because what's crazy? In the actual premonition that she had, they were driving a long time, right? Let's say they were on 65 miles an hour. It seemed everything was so close. Like when everything happened, you saw the log truck like right there and you're like, it's a little quick. I get it. They did it for like the effect of it. But I love how they sort of like get you. You're thinking like this blonde girl, the stoner guys, they're going to be a huge part of the movie.
I was shocked. I was so shocked at that. Dude. Yeah. I thought they were. I thought those were the ones that are gonna like escape death, and then the rest of the movie would be about them, and not even close. I like the fact that everybody's getting annoyed at the cop, when the girl blocks the traffic. Like everybody's like, even the cop was annoyed. There's a serious situation going on. A car looked like maybe spun out or whatever. And it's blocking traffic, and he's annoyed that he has to get out of his car and go, see what's going on.
Yeah,
I have a story, but long story short, I was in a really, really bad car accident when I was 19. Whoa. I was hit by a drunk driver, and it was early in the morning. And when the cops showed up, they were just as annoyed with me as they were with the drunk guy, who they arrested and threw on the ground. Me, they treated me like I was a piece of shit for getting hit by a drunk driver.
While you're on the road, kid.
They're probably like, oh, it would have been so much easier if he just died.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
Was that college?
No, I was in Edison. I was going home after a party, and I thankfully I hadn't been drinking. I was like the DD, and I had dropped my friends off, and I had like one more person in the car, and we were going home, and he hit me. It's a longer story than that, but
that's crazy,
Jesus.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, you're here today to tell the story.
You're here.
Yeah. Yep.
You escaped death, so you gotta watch out. You gotta watch out. Everything. Yeah. Watch out behind you. Watch out for people holding hook baskets.
Did you speak to anyone before then that told you,
There's a puddle on the floor next to me.
yeah, watch out for the puddles. Any flying birds into windows, watch out.
Okay, that scene is a bit ridiculous, but okay.
Yeah. But so they all go back to the police station, all these people that survived, which is why would all those people really have to go?
Why do sergeants always look disheveled? Like that guy that was talking to him when they're walking the hall, like his shirt's like half hanging at it. His hair looks in every movie. The sergeants always look like they're just so disheveled.
A lot of paperwork.
Lot of paperwork.
But so they interview everybody, you hear like everybody's story, and dude. And then from there we cut to the hotshot guy. I feel like he's like inspired by like Fast and the Furious. Like he has like the fast car. It's funny. He hits the lottery and they make that like the big thing. Oh, he hit the lottery. His voicemails, which God, I wish I would have got those. All the girls. Hey, remember when we met at Tony's party last year? Well, yeah, we should get together. And then the other one was like, so I hear you hit the lottery. Like,
well, I have a couple questions about this guy. So one, he hit the lottery, but he lives like in the smallest apartment ever.
Yeah.
Two,
he just hit the lottery.
Oh, he just hit it. Okay.
He did hit the lottery, so obviously he's buying the diamonds on credit. So he's obviously went and got like a credit limit from like a jeweler. For some reason, he's buying like lady ring. Like that seemed like it was like an engagement ring, which I know he's not with anybody. But has leftover spaghetti. The spaghetti,
okay,
dude.
Okay, hold on. So first of all, the fact that he takes his shirt off to cook, right?
You
I
don't
mean,
want-
I
you
don't
don't think
is
your
that a
shirt
thing?
is
sauce on his shirt.
I don't, but you know, what did you say?
I do. If it's a good shirt, I take it off.
I said you don't want to get the sauce or the grease. I've ruined so many shirts
Yes.
cooking.
Yes.
Okay,
I never learned
but
either.
okay. However, now I'm not an expert on nipple rings, but is it normal to have one nipple ring?
He can only afford one. He didn't get his
Because he only has one.
annuity.
He only has one.
I knew some people like in the early 2000s that they just had one.
Okay.
Wow.
It was all guys that had them that only had one.
Who'd you know in the early 2000s? Were there
Oh, I don't
kids at
wanna-
Riley School with nipple rings?
I don't want to drop. Well, I mean, we were in high school in the early 2000s.
Now let me ask you this:
I was thinking early 90s.
is there a certain nipple that you're supposed to have? Like I think back in the day they said if you're a guy and you have your like one ear pierced, it means that you play for the other team, so you have to have it on like your right side or left side or something like that.
Yeah,
so like is that same thing with a
I don't
nipple?
think was real. I don't think that was a real thing.
No, I don't think it. But it was a rumor. Obviously, that was a rumor.
Yeah, it was something stupid straight people came up with.
Damn straight people.
But I wonder if the same thing with nipples. Like if you get on the right nipple, you're okay, but left nipple, forget about it.
I don't know.
Right nipple, you're a Libra. The left nipple, you're a Sagittarius.
And I have to tell you, one of the grossest scenes in this movie is when she rips the nipple ring out. That bothered me.
Tony Todd does it.
Yeah, no, was it? Oh yeah, it was him. Yeah,
right before he throws him coffinless into the cremation oven.
Oh my god!
Just tosses him in.
Yeah, he did. Okay.
What do you think is?
The two things that I think about this movie, like just someone mentions Final Destination 2. I think the log truck, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I think the spaghetti.
Oh yeah, dude.
I think about the slipping on the spaghetti.
Jesus. What's his story? Because like, does he like live with like a mom who has or does he live with a girl that has a young kid? Did you notice there was like toys on the ground?
Yeah, but that was the hallway of the apartment building.
Oh yeah, that was the hallway.
So it wasn't his.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I wrote that down. So I'm like, why are there so many toys out in this apartment? Like, yeah,
he's just he just hit the lottery. So he's still living. He's still living in like his slum apartment where people just leave shit all over the hallways.
Leave toys.
And, yeah, that's all that is. Yeah.
That makes no sense.
He hasn't gotten out yet, so he's eating his leftovers. He's he's probably eyeing
the spaghetti was uncovered when he took it out. So like, I mean, how long has it been sitting in there? Like, so gross.
Toss it right out the window, like you can't afford garbage bags. Throw it out the window, and then I love the biggest fear from like the Blob is just the garbage disposal sink. Like anything that it comes to that freaks me out. Like him dropping the ring and you see it slowly go in there and then he gets his arm like that.
You're waiting for it to turn on. Like I'm cringing the minute he put his arm in and he couldn't get it out. I'm like, this is gonna be gross. Like,
and the fact that the letter, like you were saying, I think it was a B-E-Y-E, and then the letter B falls into whatever he was nuking, like those noodles, like
spaghetti.
It
was a spaghetti. Oh. It was a spaghetti.
He was nuking spaghetti. So he threw old spaghetti out and then just
because it
fell
in the pot.
Spaghetti. That's all he eats is spaghetti. So he throws old spaghetti out the window, new spaghetti that goes. Well, no, what was on the pan?
Isn't that what it fell into? Isn't it?
No, he was nuking something and he was cooking on the stove with something. So was he eating spaghetti and lo mein? That's a combo.
Well,
that's it's both noodles.
He clearly he was broke as hell. So
or he's rich and he's taking a tour of noodle history,
or he's cheap and he doesn't want to spend money on food. So, but I mean, they clearly had the word "I" sitting on that. Like they focused on that. So that would have been cool, I think, if they had other clues the rest of the movie. And I just because that was great. And I'm like, like the fact that that's really how he died. And because you see the electricity going, you see the flood going, you see everything else, and you're waiting. And that was a pretty cool clue.
Yeah. Oh my God. And then the fact that just seeing him, like when the flames start going and he is like trying to get his arm out and I love when he finally gets out and then he goes to the window and you're like, oh, this guy's going to get out. And the window's just shut. So Death is like, obviously like, F you. And then Death somehow can lock the windows that fast. Oh my God, dude. But then you're thinking, oh my God, this guy's going to escape death, right? Chair through the window, breaks through, going down the fire escape. You're getting a little sketchy, like, oh. And I forgot the death. This is probably the only death that I forgot in this movie was because when he was bouncing up and down on the fire escape ladder, I was like, what's going to happen? Like, is he going to bounce down? Is he going to fall back or something? But when you see him like get down, you're like, all right, this is fine, right? And to die by spaghetti. Well, it's got to be the first time in movie.
But first
history.
of all, when he gets down, there's a huge explosion in his room.
Oh my God, yes.
And he looks so calm about it. Like he literally just escaped death. He escaped death. There's a massive explosion, and he's just acting like nothing happened.
Maybe that happens all the time in that slummy apartment. Like that happened in 4-H like the month before. Meth addicts were cooking.
I would say in this movie, explosions happen very fast.
They do.
Throughout the movie.
I'd say he's in shock.
Oh. But his death is so bizarre.
How does he get so much? Obviously, death is behind it. So, like, there's force behind it, but it seems like it's pretty far away still. I know it's probably really heavy, so maybe that could happen. But when you see him looking at it and he's like, huh. And then I'm like, why isn't he moving? I would be like turning. It'd be like so quick. And oh my God, it looks so good. That death.
Yeah. So Egan, in these later movies, do they explain? I mean, obviously, like I feel like because the death later on moves like a lot of things in the hospital room, windows, and like. So is there like death as a character, like or something like a spiritual like they explain
the end of
that,
one, right? The end of one, you see like an actual like.
Oh, you do
figure like a shadow.
No, you don't.
Sort of.
You don't really see anything. You just see like stuff moving. Yeah, it's that way in all of them.
The first one, there was like some kind of shadow, like you see like a shadow of some, not like a actual figure,
but some kind of like
you see is it's kind of like what it's the beginning of this one, right? Where Kimberly's in her bedroom and she sees like the tree branches moving.
Yes,
which
like
which every movie
like that. You don't. Yeah, it's all
there's always
like
creepy.
You don't actually see like a death character or like you don't see like
no character. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, but no, it's all stuff like it's all hinting at like like the presence of death is in the room with you. There's no
without seeing death.
Like,
there's the presence there. Okay.
Yeah. So like stuff moves, the wind blows, weird shadows occur, but it's not like an outline of like a being.
No, but when he was in the hospital, you see it. I felt like I saw it the most of the supernatural aspect of it because all the other ones you feel like the people are doing the thing to get themselves killed, but in the hospital room it was death clearly closing the vents, moving the thing, pulling out the wire, like
and
so like that was a scene
there's stuff like that in all five. There's stuff like that in the first one that's like it's some of them it's like this looks like an accident, and then there's other ones that's like to the outside viewer, it looks like an accident, but to us, we're seeing all the little machinations. Things are closing, valves are turning, doors are locked. Stuff like that.
Sure. Okay.
Death is happening, man. Rube Goldberg, man, huge fan. He's a huge fan of the opening to Pee Wee Herman. He loves the way Pee Wee gets his cereal, so that's how he does it. But one thing I really didn't like, and I don't know if obviously when they were going to make this movie, if like Jeffrey or the studios were like, no Devon Sawa, we're not going to bring back Devon Sawa. I don't know why. In 2003, I don't know what Devon Sawa, he was making like Slackers, came out in 2002, 2003-ish. But like the fact that they had to kill him, that you see the cop when he's Googling and he's going through all the, she's not even Googling, whatever he's using, whatever web search that is, that looks so crazy. Is he like searching something and then it's just like the URLs lined up, like no like.
But he wasn't at the office. He was doing it at his house, right?
Yeah, it seemed like it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're just hanging out.
Do cops have that? Like they have access at home to look up anybody?
Yeah, he's just Googling.
I think there are some. I think there's some search services that police can use mobily, so they don't have. especially with today's day and age. They don't have to run back to the precinct to look something up.
So let me
run
ask
a
you this
plate?
question: what's the time frame of this movie from the minute they have the accident on the highway to the end of the movie? Is it how many days you think?
Probably like a week or so.
Oh, you think that long? I'm thinking it sounded like, because I didn't see any nighttime, so I always thought it was like everything happened like in a day. Like the mother loses her son, but later on has the meeting. Like I felt like everything was so quick.
That same day she has the meeting because she goes, I have to
That's
plan a
what I'm
funeral."
saying. That's what I'm saying. Like,
it's probably a few days.
Okay.
The first one takes over a longer period of time because there's like a time jump. It's like I want to say like a month goes by after like the plane crash, and like they're still people are still hanging around.
Yeah, it doesn't happen right away. Yeah,
it doesn't happen right away. This is like Death's like, you know what? I don't have time for this shit. Like I have
time.
like it's a long
Get
weekend.
this going.
Right.
But the fact that they have to mention in the article that he's dead, so like Alex is dead in the universe.
I don't mind that because for this one. Well, I mean, we'll get to it. For this one, if they want to change up the ending a bit, I think they have to get rid of everyone from the first movie, which is why I think Clear dies in this.
Oh my god, what a way to go!
I really am confused on this movie. What they thought the theory was and what they needed to do, and clearly it didn't work. So like.
new child. They just need a new child to be born.
Yeah. But why do they think that? Like, I mean, I feel like the whole. Okay, well, first of all, when they meet Ali Larder, which we're not there yet, but she has this whole list theory, right? And then the girl says, "Well, they're doing it backwards now." So like, her theory, her whole theory went out the window. And why does she even have it? And why does she even have a theory? Like, how does she know? It's just death, people dying. So what makes her think
because
that?
That's
from the first one. It's in the first one. They showed where the way the plane exploded. They had like this almost reenactment of it, like when you watch like old like. So it was like they knew this is where the explosion went off.
So the order,
right? Based on who was sitting where in the plane, whoever died first, that's the order that death was taking them.
They could figure that out at an airplane explosion.
Well, so it doesn't all blow up at once. It's like this stuff happens, and then someone gets sucked out of the side of the plane, and then this so it was like piece by piece. Like, so while it happens over the course of like a minute or less, it was still like an order of how they died. So that's from the first one. They figured out who was going to die next. Okay. And this, I think it's tied to the fact that Ali Larder's still alive. So it's like death is working backwards to eventually get to her, even though she's been in a padded cell for a year. So they take that incorrectly and theorize that the pregnant woman, that her baby has something to do with it. But then they learn that she wasn't going to die in the accident. She was going to be on the highway, but she was going to survive.
Yeah.
So then
she was pulled over on the side of the road.
It's all like a bait and switch for us and
them. Sure.
So it's their theory. They work it out, and then they're like, oh shit, she wasn't gonna die. So that whole theory means nothing.
So let me ask you this. So Ali Larder is in a padded room in a insane asylum. Death can't penetrate in the. So like as long as she's in the padded room, Death's never gonna touch her.
Yeah, I guess.
Like I mean, like
rules don't bring anything in.
Yeah, but okay, but
because she thinks people are gonna murder her. Or,
well, no. I know why she's there, but I mean the fact that this is a year later, right? She was on that list. Everybody else died, but because she's in a padded room, Death can't figure out a way to get in there.
That makes sense. But will Death just like burn down? If he really just burned down the whole place?
I mean, in reality,
that's not Death's design.
But if Death was going to, if he killed everybody quickly in the first movie, or there's no reason why there should have been something for. So the fact that like she's in a safe zone, in a padded room, that's a safe zone, and if that's the case, I would want the room next to her.
Yeah. And the fact that she's 19, like she is a smoke show, like, and you're thinking like. she's 19, and I know obviously when they cast people for these movies, they're not really high school kids for the most part when they're playing high school. I'm just like, oh my God. And just this whole scene and how angry she is. She's almost like angry in the fact that she maybe thinks Alex was like so unique because obviously she like loved him. But because she gives like a real attitude to Kimberly when Kimberly's there just only to offer help.
Yeah, but understand something. She probably has had so little human interaction in a year.
True.
Because she doesn't allow, which I'm surprised that a hospital would allow just anyone to visit anyone. Because she's able, I mean, what's the main character's name?
Kimberly.
Kimberly. She seems to be able to get to any room in any hospital that she wants very easily.
Well, it's a 90-minute horror movie. We've got to,
which that's great. It was moving.
It was.
It does.
So
I forgot. I always think of these movies as being like a full like 2 hours because so much happens. 90,
no, they squeeze it in there.
93 minutes, something like
now,
that.
Allie Larder, when she eventually does leave, though, she doesn't seem to be that nervous about dying.
No,
in the beginning she was a little bit. Yeah,
I think it's because I think she thinks that if they're going to be able to figure out how to stop their deaths, then she's going to try to survive long enough that maybe they can stop her from dying too. Like she can get taken off the board, off the list. But yeah, it doesn't really make sense that she goes with them.
No,
other than the fact that like she might be able to survive eventually.
Well, I think it's Kimberly trashed her and called her a coward and then flipped off angrily into the security camera that she just so happens to have like a monitor in her own room that she's able to see her like say like fuck you.
She's got special accommodations.
She does. And she volunteers.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you able to volunteer yourself to live in a padded room?
I guess so, but I don't know if I would let that person sign out.
God only knows what it would look like in real life, but like, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of like voluntary.
Yeah, no, I know they're but like, yeah. I mean, the room she's in is like very severe. Like if like someone that really,
because she thinks or she knows that death's will come for her if she's in anything but a space like that.
That's ridiculous. All right,
it's a big padded room's that big. It's a lot of space.
Were the floors padded too?
You thought that was big?
I thought that was pretty big for I don't know.
Were the floors padded also?
Oh, it must be because if
they are in situations like
that.
Yeah.
So it must be like very bouncy in there.
Padded wall, jump down and kill yourself. Yeah.
All right, so it looked like a fun room. Looked like a bounce house.
It did, yeah. Rent it out. Like they probably charge like a few bucks. Do a birthday party in there. Why not?
And it looked very clean in there. Like it was pretty clean.
Very clean. So then from there, Clear's checking out. Yeah.
Was there a toilet in that room?
No, it was like an empty room. It was literally like I don't think there was much in there except for the camera.
They put her in like a box.
Yeah, her murder board. She had a murder board and like a little cot.
Well,
that was it. So
all right, I'm done. I'm not going to poke any holes.
So then we cut to she's checking out right away. She's got her leather jacket. She's badass. She's ready to go. Then we cut to the boy at the dentist because his mom was like, you know what?
Oh.
We almost died at some horrific thing yesterday, but you gotta make sure you keep your appointment for the next day. Even though I think I'd be traumatized and not go anywhere.
And listen, watching and listening to that drill was horrifying. Oh, that's so gross.
But the line the kid says is so great. It reminded me of Seinfeld when he says, if I get the gas and wake up with my pants undone, we're not paying. And the mom's like, oh, Tim.
And he's a young kid, right? I mean, to say a line like
15 or 16 because he has to get his mom to drive him. So he's like 15, 16 in this movie. He had to have the balls to say that. And I'm guessing no dad's in the picture. So this kid's like, just whatever, me and mom bro it out. I can say whatever I want.
Why does a dentist have a mobile? That's like a kid's thing, isn't it? Like, sucks. I mean, he sucks because he also obviously knows that pigeons frequently hit his window for some reason. Like, At what
Yes.
point do you say, like, we got to figure out why they're doing this? Like, because it's
Or
not the
just
first
let's
time
move offices or not put
something.
glass up.
How many times do I have to replace this window? Or,
And it looked
So
like a
he
very
was-
thick window. Like, it
Yeah.
was a very thick window.
well, we know it is a thick window because
Yeah.
it hits our boy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But no, the fact that it's like, yeah, we know it's thick when we see it crack. When we see it crack in the room, and then obviously the gas isn't working. So then, like, he's trying to do this needle in this boy's mouth. Okay?
Oh,
And the pigeon is just like hitting the window. He's getting startled. He's like, what the fuck? Oh no, that's why he used the gas, right?
well,
Yeah.
Was it
because-
that?
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's why.
Because he can't use the
But-
needle because the bird keeps. Yeah.
but there's so
I'm
much.
Assuming that's, I'm assuming
There's so
that's
much
death
water
manip-
leaking.
manipulating
There's
so-
birds.
There was so much water leaking. He didn't hear any of it or see any of it come.
Well, that was the
needles-
mom. No, that was the mom.
that was
should
an-
heard
that was an-
in- yeah, because you thought the
That's-
mom
yeah.
because the water was leaking from the water, like the water cooler, and it
Okay,
was coming.
no
it was
one noticed
spraying
it?
onto that.
No
No,
one
nobody
noticed
didn't.
Oh, okay.
It's the aquarium, right? And it's like aimed at right at the outlet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spraying
what-
on it.
Yeah. Death has to. He works a few things out, and then he figures out. Okay. This
You mean
is-
almost choking on a piece of the mobile, like the blowfish?
What a
Yeah.
what a
Like-
way to go! Could you imagine
the
that?
outlet thing didn't work, so I'm going to
But-
try the mobile.
But I love the fake out because the kid wasn't moving when it was
Oh.
in his mouth.
Yeah.
Like
It was too much
it looked
gas.
like
he was getting too much
Yeah.
nitrous. You saw it just. Death was cranking that up, and he's like, "You're gonna be at a Grateful Dead concert right now."
Oh, I have a
cranking it up.
story.
Oh my god!
When I got my wisdom teeth out, they put they kept me awake and they put the gas on me like that, and the way it looks like in the movie where it goes too high and like the ceiling shoots up, that exact thing happened to me when I was getting my wisdom teeth because it
Wow.
wasn't coming out fast enough. So the doctor was like, "You feeling anything yet?" And I said, "No, I feel totally normal." So he turned the valve up. And it was just the ceiling shot up like 100 feet, and I was like waving, like no, too much.
Let me ask you this: any pigeons hit the window?
Any pigeons?
I was in like a windowless room,
Smart. That's what it should
a
be.
one-story building.
Did you wake up with your pants unbuttoned?
Well, no, I didn't pass out because it was literally I was awake through the entire surgery.
Oh,
They just gassed me. Yeah. So I was out of it.
Oh my god! But I love that we saw the pigeons hitting the window in like the room that the boy was in, and then when we're cutting back and forth to the mom reading a magazine, the water going near her. But when we do the cut back and we hear screaming, and the mom's going to grab the pigeon that flew through the window, so it's like, oh my god!
And the
Not only are
pigeon's
they
okay.
breaking the window, they're going through. Yeah, the
Yeah.
pigeon was fine.
and the pigeon's completely fine. Like, it was,
Yeah.
okay. And that was a massive
I had a
shatter.
parakeet run into a window and he killed himself. He didn't break the window. This pigeon breaks the window, like Jamie said, shatters it, and he's fine. Just walking around.
Okay.
Well, he's got the power of death on his side.
That is
He's-
true. Or maybe the pigeon was death, in
Oh
disguise.
my
Like
God.
maybe death disguises himself as the lady with the cans in the beginning.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it's always maybe there's someone in every scene of death that's in the background could be death.
That'd be pretty
the
funny.
pigeon- The
Yeah.
pigeons are the clue that you're looking for with this death,
Yeah.
though.
Well, yeah, but no,
Because-
but you already
The
saw her
pigeons are
in
the
a premonition.
reason-
Yeah, but it was already in a premonition, so the clue is not
Yeah.
like she already told you that was. You're just wondering how that's going to kill it. Are the
Yeah.
birds are going to kill the kid or not? Which clearly
Yeah.
not.
And you can tell the kid's young, and maybe that's right. Maybe that was that pigeon. So maybe they brought that same pigeon that flew through the window outside, and that was the pigeon that scared the crane operator. After the boy is, pigeons,
Okay.
and he runs
Okay.
at them.
What was the crane operator? Was that was that glass? Like what was that? That was
Yeah,
he was
that's the window that's
The
being
window.
that they're
replaced at
replacing
the dentist.
already. So
Yeah.
they already had a window. So they basically have a crane outside with a window waiting because they know there's
On
so many
deck,
pigeons
every day.
on deck.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, here's another one. All right, get the crane guy. He's ready.
Yeah, they just sleep out there.
Yeah, because the dentist is like, how many times do I have to replace this glass? And they were already out there, like ready to go. I don't know if it must have been a different pane they were planning on fixing.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
clearly
yeah,
they
he has
have
the
an
money.
issue with pigeons. So, like, again, why would you stay there? But all right, so we get this kid who kicks the pigeons and then scares the crane, and this thing falls. I'm not sure someone would actually. They may die from it. Not sure they're going to die the way he died.
I don't know, dude. If it doesn't break, it weighs that much and it's falling from that high. I don't know,
You think
dude.
he's going to turn to mush? The kid turned to mush.
I'd have to know how heavy that glass is.
Oh, yeah. That'll factor into the mushiness of
And it's already on the crane. Let's say it's falling at least 2-3 stories.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I could see it breaking cracking your skull, but again, turning to mush. I just love the fact that they had a body bag the length of the child, but would they fill it up with like from head to toe with the mush and just like spread it out around? Because there was nothing left of this kid. The way he died, it really was a puddle.
I love how it bends him back, like his knees bend back, and he just folds them.
It was pretty gross.
Love it. And then from there, they get there just in time because they find out the cop, Kimberly and Clear, right? They all find out where
they run
he's
up
going to
and watch
be.
him die.
How did Ali Larder find? How did Ali Larder find them in the first place? Because she shows up at the house, or something like. So how'd she find? How'd she find them?
She called. Didn't the dad, or was that the cop that called the dad and found out where she was? I don't know where. I
mean, she's been locked up for a year. How would she know exactly where they're going? Okay,
it's a good question. But she was there. She was there.
She was
fast.
there.
I forget how.
She was.
But the fact that they run up and they're like, "Oh, it's right over here," and they run up and see this. Ugh.
Well, imagine the mom. I mean, watching your child turn to mush like that. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Her reaction wasn't that big either.
No, it wasn't. Well, again, this is the same
like,
mom that went to a
no.
meeting, and she went to a meeting late, the same, like what, a couple hours after, like, and she didn't seem like she seemed to like. I guess she needed some kind of Xanax or something, but that's it. Like it was okay. My son just got mushed.
Yeah, I almost like later on, when they're like meeting and like talking about like what to do next. I feel like she's almost like resigned. Like now she's like, God knows, who knows where her husband is. Her son's dead. Maybe she's just like, you know what? If I die, I die, and maybe we'll be reunited. And that's
she did say something like that later on. When she was there.
But then,
but then, meanwhile, when I mean, we're not at her deathbed, but then she says, "I don't want to die."
Yeah. Well, I guess
she said that later on.
You realize.
Well, that's what they would say. People that
also,
like Howard Stern had that guy
her
on that used to jump off the Golden
death.
Gate Bridge all the time, and he said that every time he jumped, as soon as he jumped, he was like, "I want to live." So maybe it was that she was like, "I want to die," and she's like, "You know what? On second thought, this is where I want to go."
She the way she died, she realized that this is going to hurt like hell.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why she's like, all right, I'm not ready to die yet.
Yeah, this isn't like passing away in your bed. It's
no, right. And their poor family. So they have two people, the son and the mom die. And when they have the funeral for both of them, one doesn't have a head and one doesn't have a body.
Yeah. One you can use a bucket. Well, I guess both of you use a bucket. 2 buckets. A bucket of slop and a bucket for the head.
Do they tie the head back on? Like, do they like sew it back on if you're gonna have a?
I think if it's, I'm gonna assume if it's possible to do it, and the family's okay with it, then they'll throw a scarf on her or something.
What? And if it's not possible, okay. So if it's not possible,
Like
and they throw them in the coffin, do they hold it like a basketball? Like they put the head by the arm, or they place it? I mean, no one's going to see it, so
they place it somewhere normal and just. I did my best.
That's what I want. If my wife
you want
listens to this,
you want to be decapitated?
I don't want to, but I'm saying if that were to happen, I want it to be propped up like I'm the headless horseman, just me holding my own head.
I mean, you could hold it like a basketball and be like, I want to be buried in my Knicks jersey or something.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Or do you want to hold it by the hair? And just hold it up.
Traumatize your entire family. Poor children.
Yeah. But yeah, so good. So then we talked about a lot about that Tony Todd scene, but what's great about it is the very end of it when he says Kimberly. And she's like, "How do you know my name?" And he gives like the camera a look and a little wink. And you're like, oh,
and then
man,
they don't explain anything.
Yep.
Nothing.
Makes no sense.
And why is there a lot of
need
steam? Why is there a lot of steam in his lair?
Well, it's a
When they walk
crematorium.
down-
He's burning
Smoke.
the bodies.
Oh, it smells.
Smoke, baby.
All right.
Yeah.
Are all crematoriums like again take like a little dungeon walk to get there?
I hope not.
I mean, you also don't throw the body in loose either. So
That is true.
I think you respect the bodies. Here at ABC
And, like, he's just, like-
crematorium, we're-
he's just like in jeans and just throws them in. Like,
And this looks like it's like midnight. Like it looks like it's late at night. This is what he does. Like I really like I think he lives down there.
people only visit him at midnight. In the first one, it's really late too.
Oh, really?
When they go to the morgue. Yeah,
I want to
because I feel like they all sneak out.
Yeah, no, they do. If he's in all 5, I want to say 4 of them he's in like the crematorium or whatever, and like, I think there's one where he's out in the graveyard.
I would say that
do
maybe
they
the other one. It'd be funny if the other one he's
There's
at like a
one where I
Starbucks.
think he's like out at the cemetery, like leaning on a gravestone.
Do they explain anything later on about him, like his story?
I honestly, I don't remember.
Okay,
He's
because I mean that
I
would
would
be
love
helpful.
that if he was dead like Large Marge, like they go somewhere and there's like in loving memory and it's his photo, or he's leaning on his own grave. That would be cool. Then
I
you'd be
know
like,
there's probably
"Oh, shit,
some like
this
huge
guy's dead the whole time.
There's
some
got to be
huge,
something
Final
with him.
Destination fan out there that's like screaming at us right now.
Oh, I'm sure we get screamed at all the
Welcome
time.
it. At
I mean,
Sequel-
it's usually me. It's usually me yelling in my car, like, "You guys forgot that? It's right there."
It's
Well, you know,
right
in this
front.
scene,
But to be,
I thought he was like part of Death's team. The way he acts and what he knows, like I thought
he
he
definitely,
just
there's something. There's something. It's just that I think I've only seen the first one like 2 or 3 times, and this is like 2 or 3 times for this one, and 3 through 5 I've only seen once each. So, and it's been
well.
a while.
I mean, the fact that he likes to be around dead things as a mortician, and then he knows her name. There's something like again, it just leads that he knows something or he's part of the team.
He's got some magic to him. I think he is ultimately a good guy, though. I think he's a chaotic neutral kind of guy.
Yeah,
he like wants you to die, but he wants you to at least try a little bit. He wants to give you some inside
I'll give you
scoop.
a single hint.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so clear. I love the gas station scene when you have like that era of like the 2000s, like the way that kid is dressed, the way he's like doing it. You see the
way he's acting.
gasoline. Oh well, when he says "suck on my junk, biatch."
That guy. The movie overall is pretty timeless. That guy is firmly planted in 2003.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know when this movie came out with the big Zippo lighter and just the fact that everything's in slow mo. And she is so scared because she is really out in the wild, so to speak. Like since she survived what happened,
She's in the wild without any weapons.
and
is
she
really
knows
what
that
it is.
She knows that anything even remotely dangerous or that death can use anything at its disposal to get.
But that's why it doesn't make sense. Why, if that's the case, why would she get in a car with anybody? Why would she go to a gas station that's going to filled with gasoline? Why would she go anywhere to even help these people? She doesn't know them, and she knows that death is waiting for her. So, like,
there's a little like I know, like even in the first one, there's a little bit of it's not really like rule fudging, but it's kind of like if the one character knows that, so like one of them is next, and 2 or 3 of them that aren't next are in a car together, they'll like speed through a red light, they'll fly over a train track, and like nothing happens to them. They're almost untouchable until death takes the one who's next, and then they're up for grabs. Yeah. So it's like it's a little bit of like, it's not rule fudging, it's actually sticking really close to the rules of death has his order and he's going to come for you in this way, and you might be able to get out of something else unscathed until it's your turn.
But in this
So there's
movie,
some of
death is going backwards, though, right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Reverse.
So then, does that mean Clear's last? That right? To me,
That would make sense,
That's what I mean. Right. Okay.
So she's So I'm gonna assume that she's safe,
But she's not last. Was she last?
but she also because she gets taken out with Eugene.
Yeah.
Which wasn't really planned. It just happens.
Which is weird because like they seem to like not vibe at all, and then by the time like near the end of the movie, she's like almost like they were dating. Like the way she was like had like almost like really caring about the guy. So that relationship made no sense. Yeah.
There's kind of stuff like that in even the first one where like the characters don't like each other, and then they're like, "Oh, I guess we're stuck together, so we might as well act like that." But then you're like,
well, Clear mentions that this is all of her friends. She goes, "You're talking about all my friends," and it's like,
and she like barely knew them in the first movie. Well, even like her and Alex like get together at the very end of the movie. It's not like they're a couple during the movie. It's like they kind of fall in love because of the whole thing that they've been through, and then I guess over the time between the two movies they're together. But she acts like they were like gonna get married and like they dated 6 months.
Well, it's probably like a one night. It's probably considered like a one night stand because you're not going to last that long anyway.
That's true. So you just you got to get it in.
There's a part in this movie where when the main character goes something like, I need to do this to save us, but there's only 2 people left. When she says it, it's her and the cop.
And the cop, yeah. No,
I'm like maybe if you thought about this, when you could have saved everybody, like save us. There's only 2 people.
Yeah.
Well, because they thought the baby thing was the thing that was going to save them.
Ridiculous.
So I love when they're talking about the baby thing. So they say like, if she has this baby, then new life, this starts a cycle again. And I love the cop of everything that's happened so far. At the gas station, he goes, I don't know, doesn't it seem far-fetched? It's like everything that has happened so far is far-fetched. So wouldn't you just like try something rather than nothing? I love that in horror movies or sci-fi when it's something so bizarre and even the characters like, this seems pretty stupid, but it's like, what else are we going to do? There's not like there's any other plan because there's not like a how-to book on how to be able to like survive this.
And the cop really was only a cop the first day because the rest of the movie, he's in street clothes and he has all the time when he's helping everybody. He's off the entire week.
Yeah, he's just off for 2 more days because that's really the rest of the movie. It's really not that long because after that kid dies, yeah. So this movie is maybe 4 days long.
If that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they have the meeting. So this is right after this. They have the meeting at the cop's apartment. Pretty nice place. Kayak hanging from the ceiling. But how about like the guy, like the Coke guy? Why is he being a dick to the guy in the elevator? That made no sense.
Yeah.
Like, wasn't that bizarre?
At first I thought he was hitting on him. Like I thought he really but he was just doing it on purpose just to freak him out. Because he was smiling after the guy left.
Yeah, I'm like, is this something that's going to set something up? Are we going to see this guy later? No. Nothing at all.
Like, I missed that part.
Oh,
yeah, he was like, he was messing with the guy.
He was messing with the guy. He goes, "There's something on your face. Can I get it off for you?" And the guy was like freaking out. And then he's like, "Here, I can get it off." And he's like licking his fingers. He was going to touch him. Like, it was a very weird interaction.
I must have gone to the kitchen to get a drink.
Yeah, it was bizarre. Unless it was like somebody that was in that worked on the movie, a producer or something. It was just so bizarre that it was like, this has nothing to do with it. It's not like the cokehead guy died in the elevator, so it had nothing to do with him. But yeah, dude. So they have their little meeting. Eugene, like Egan said, he's like waffling on like, why the hell is this happening? Because this is obviously before what happens next to him, where he sort of believes a little bit more. But the kayak almost kills him from the ceiling. And I love that Nora's like, I want to get the hell out of here. And then Eugene, even have that speed. Yeah.
I would say, do people tie a kayak to the ceiling? Is that something normal?
I have no idea.
Because
dude. That
it looked like
the way it's sitting in that living room.
No. And the way it was tied, clearly it's gonna come down like a pendulum, the way it did. So like, why would you tie it like that? I mean, that just doesn't make sense. Why you know, in the middle of your living room is a kayak hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah. Any single dude hanging on the wall or put it behind your couch. Nobody's coming over, dude. Come on.
Well, and you have this closet that the cocaine guy goes to.
Dude.
And he was looking at it. Why was he freaking out about the closet? Like I didn't see anything in there that was, unless I missed it.
What do you mean? He was freaking out because the bowling ball was moving and he still went in there.
Ball, and there's ice skates and there's like
yes.
Oh, so he
was like all sharp. It was a closet full of sharp stuff and like heavy stuff like the bowling ball.
And he still walked in.
He freaks out so it was kind of like, oh shit, I'm gonna close the door now. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was wondering because
the stuff starts coming down. And that's when he sees the shadow.
Right.
Okay. With the hangers.
The hook man.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
A basket of like a shopping, like you go to the food store, you get like that red shopping basket. You just want to carry it around. That's what this man had of like prosthetic hands, hook hands.
And this is an apartment building, so why would he be having? No, not all of them had hooks. Some of them had hands, but
some did. Did he have a hook hand?
No, he didn't.
Or did he have?
No.
Did he make them?
But wouldn't that be like a sign of like the guy? Let's say the doorman of the apartment building, seeing a guy walk in there with all these, like, that's a little weird. That's a little creepy. Like this guy's collecting body parts, like so. Yeah, why would he have that in an apartment building?
Or he does it as a hobby. Maybe he makes them and sells them at the flea market. Yeah, he brings this hook in.
He's like a guy that like works with prosthetics, and it's just a weird. It's just some weird imagery.
The doorman
was that weird, or smelling the girl's hair when she was turned around? Like,
look,
hook hand for Hank.
Yeah, he does. He does a good job. He makes prosthetics for people that need them. And he's a little bit of a creep on the side, sniffing.
Yeah, he helps people have hands. So one sniff a week's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the guy next to him didn't like who was with her. It was
Eugene. Why did Eugene this badass biker?
He didn't say anything. Yeah, yes. He didn't like protect her. Like he just watched and like gave the guy a dirty look.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I love that this is like when people didn't have cell phones, so the cop gave Nora a cell phone. And then he said, Eugene, make sure she gets this, right? Because Eugene was leaving after her. So I love when they call, because they all see that the cocaine guy sees the shadow first of the hook hands. Then Kimberly and everybody else sees it. So they're calling and the service is so bad. She's like, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. You're going to be killed by a man with hooks.
Man with a hook.
Right? With hook hands. And dude, the way to go. The thing that was crazy was the guy didn't drop the basket. I know obviously it's part of Death's plan. So maybe this guy is Death. Death is inside this.
But that's what I mean. Every scene has something that's unrelated to it's related to the death, but like in the background, right? So this guy was in the background. I mean, he could have, no one seemed to help her with her hair. Like, first of all, I don't know how it got caught in the first place, but
he could have let go.
No one let go. Like, right. He could have easily like dropped the basket and just hold the one hand, the hook hand that's connected. No one helped her.
Oh my God. At all.
Right.
Even when her heads get stuck and the thing's jamming on her, just like, I don't know, push like take the one off and push her head out. Like it was just so bizarre that
it does kind of happen. It happens really fast though. So she gets stuck, and because she's heard a man with hooks is going to kill you, she thinks that guy's like going to just murder her for no reason. So she runs out of the elevator, still stuck. And it's kind of like, I think the guy, because the guy with the hooks, he's just a guy. He's a weirdo, but he's just a guy. He's not trying to hurt her. So he's just, I think he's in shock. Eugene's screaming about
but he's clearly not helping her either, because he could have put the basket down and let the hand dangle from her hair so she could walk out. You know, I mean, he's not helping at all.
He's like a feeble Mr. Burns type. Like he's not moving so quick.
Oh, but what a way to go. And then they're running down and they're trying to pull her out at the same time. She's like, I don't want to die. And it's like, slam.
Well, it looked like they were pushing her. It looked like they were lifting her up, because they were lifting her up from her butt. Like they were pushing her up.
Well, they were lifting her up so her head wasn't snapping, I think. So maybe she wasn't like getting strangled.
Okay.
She was like hanging by her head.
Okay. So this is an elevator. Don't elevators, if you're in the middle of it, always opens right back up?
Not
Like,
when
what
that's
elevator
involved.
could...
Not when that's involved.
That's
He manipulated the elevator. Let me turn off the safety feature.
okay.
That's
Or
what he
how
did.
about like you're in the elevator, but do the stop button. There's an emergency stop button.
He broke that too. He broke that too.
Yeah, but they didn't even try. Like, again, Eugene's standing there. I mean, like, there's a few things he could have tried to do. How about like try opening the elevator door? He
there
did
should have
nothing.
been there should have been a shot of him like pushing buttons and it's not doing
Right,
anything.
something. They don't show him doing anything.
He's just
He
screaming.
didn't try anything. And well, yeah, he screams after he falls back and they see her head just sitting there. The body flies, blood squirting everywhere. And his first thing is, let me go back in. He grabs the gun from the cop and then he fires at his own head 6 times. It doesn't work. And the cop's like, I don't know how that happened. So death was like, so is that Death just messing with him?
There's the perfect example. It's like the thing in the first movie with like them driving through red lights and not getting hit. And so it's the same thing. Yeah. He's not
Kurt Smith flying around.
He can't take himself out. Death is
it's funny. That was like my thought throughout the movie. I'm thinking like, all right, if this is based on the people I've seen now die horrific deaths, I'd rather take myself out and an easy way. Let me fall asleep, take a couple pills, and not wake up, and that'll be knowing that if I don't do that, I'm going to die a horrific death. But even if I did that, it wouldn't work because it wasn't my time. You're saying
that's
so
like,
no matter
whoa, dude. That's too easy.
You're not getting an easy way out. That's it.
Yeah. You're not getting one bullet to the brain. I got to make sure that a bowling ball falls, and
I need to make sure that you explode, your face falls off, or or some kind of explosion. Yeah.
Oh, you know what we haven't talked about yet, and I don't know if you were holding off is how the characters in this are connected to the first one.
Oh, well, that's like the next scene, right? The next scene is when they're going to see Isabella because they put the APB out on her van because the cop he's like, I'm a cop. And that was his line to Kimberly. How are we going to find her van? And he's like, well, I am a cop. And then he goes into the police station, rewinds. It's like the quickest little there's the plate. And then he puts an APB out on her. She gets arrested. The cops scared the shit out of her. Instead of I know he can't obviously tell the cops yeah, we're arresting her because we think that if she has her kid, then we'll be able to escape death and it can start a new cycle. But they treat her like she's a criminal. Like, really, the cop is cleaning the gun. Dude, he's fixing the gun and pointing it at her.
First of all, he's like the most inept cop ever. Like when she's in the prison, he looks like he's like it's the first day in a job. Like he's panics the entire time, of whatever. He can't make a decision. So yeah, but back to Egan, what you just said about them having a connection. You would think that would be one of the first things they would bring up when this is the second time they've had a close call. Like this is something that when you have a close call with something, you're not going to forget it. If you're going to have a second one, it's something that's going to stick with you. You're going to be like, this is the second time I almost died. Or whatever. So, I mean, I'm surprised it took this long to even them to even talk about it.
Well, it's Kimberly that almost died once, right?
Well, she told the story about she was in the mall, right? She was at a mall, but why didn't she go outside of the mall? When her mom got carjacked and murdered because she didn't let the guy steal her car. I forgot what distracted her. Was it seeing the news of the plane crash or
maybe?
Well, they all almost died because one almost died in a club. One almost died.
Eugene was a teacher, and what's her name? Because that's the one that they made it seem like murder, right? When the teacher got stabbed.
I didn't think it was all close calls. I remember they all have
no. It was more like they should have died.
The victims,
right? That's what I mean. It's a close call. Like they should have died.
No. I'm saying I thought it was only Kimberly that had a story like that because for example, the cop says that he was there. So in the first one, Sean William Scott's character, he's the cop that went to that scene after that character dies. He didn't almost die though.
Well, no, if he would have went with the senior officer, right? There was a shootout and he would have been murdered,
right?
So if that call never
So-
came in, he would have
right.
been there.
Right,
So
right, right.
Eugene,
Okay.
because the teacher, the way
because-
she died, they made
Yeah.
that one seem like it was murder. Because remember, she was stabbed a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So that was the only
because-
like
because
death
those
one that
characters-
wasn't like a suicide.
Because those characters got off the plane, they altered history. So these people should have died in various ways, and then so
Right.
the accident was Death's way of getting all of them at once. Okay.
Yep.
I only watched this movie 2 days ago.
And the way the Kimberly one, I think, was she was watching the news. I think it
think
was
that's
of what's
right.
his name's death of the one the
The
shower
boyfriend.
scene.
Yes. Yeah.
The hanging in the shower, his best friend
Yeah.
in the movie.
'Cause They don't
Alex's
find
best
out.
friend.
They don't find out about Alex's death until Clear tells her at the asylum.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that scene's pretty good. But so Isabella's pregnant. This guy cleaning the gun, pointing it at her. She goes into labor, and in what world does a cop not have a car? At a police station.
I said that. So this police station has one cop car. Clearly,
You can take my
'cause it's-
van. We can take my van. I'm like, what? Jesus, man.
yeah. But the panic on this cop, like, and this is only a pregnancy. Can you imagine if there's like some kind of holdup or a shootout? Like, how's this cop going? How did he become a cop? Because he clearly doesn't have the balls to be a cop because he just panics over a pregnant woman. Imagine something major.
Dude.
I suffer from anxiety, like pretty bad anxiety. That guy reacted worse than I would in that situation. He looked like he was going to have a heart attack himself because her water broke. Bro,
Easily.
just get in the car with her.
Yeah.
Well,
Just drive.
and he
Casually.
doesn't make. She makes all his decisions.
Yes.
Like the way, like, so he's a cop who should be taking control, and it's really her who's taking control of him.
I mean, he's like a podunk, like state trooper. Probably has what's he do? Maybe pull people over for speeding. You know,
I don't think he leaves the office. He's the guy that just probably stamps all the paperwork.
He's the Farva. He's the
the
Farva
Farva.
of his precinct.
But I love how they're on a collision course while they're going, and they're going to obviously they're going to the same direction on the same road. They almost hit each other because he is so panicky. And what causes I forgot what causes Kimberly to almost crash.
Because she has a premonition of water and she starts choking.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, that's what it was.
Why is Kimberly driving? Like
that is true?
shouldn't a cop,
Yeah.
shouldn't a cop be driving? I mean, this guy's a cop and he really doesn't do any cop things in this movie.
No.
Well,
He
these are
just
out of
outside
cop
of-
hands.
coffee on himself.
These aren't cop things. Yeah, he spills coffee on himself.
And then he
That is
he
true.
searches.
Oh, he
stuff.
does have the computer. He does use the computer.
He
But like
does.
he should be
He
driving.
looks
Like
at the license
Kimberly clearly is not stable enough. Like he seemed the most in control of the whole
Jamie, are
movie.
you talking about lady drivers? Come on.
Well, I'm talking about lady drivers who have premonitions while they're
Okay.
driving.
Okay.
Well,
I mean,
maybe
really,
it's,
the cop
maybe it's
is under
just- It's all
pressure.
fate, right?
Yeah.
It's all fate.
Well, it is.
out.
But
So
yeah, all right.
because her water broke at that specific time, they had to be on the road at that specific time. Kimberly's driving at that specific time, has the premonition. It's all fate. It's all coming together.
Death knew it.
Coming to get you.
I can tell you, Death is very creative. I mean, he's able to plan very well. Put all these pieces together.
The almost crashing into each other and the spinning out, and just what they crash into, like a whole thing of PVC pipe. And Eugene gets stabbed. The girl that
What did he get stabbed with?
One of the pieces of pipe, I think.
yeah, it was
just
all
like
the
a-
PVC
like a-
pipe.
Because
A
there was,
piece
like,
that
different
fell off?
size- Yeah, there was like different size piping.
Okay.
So there's like the bigger pieces up top, and he got like through the side.
Because they
into
didn't.
his lung.
But they didn't show anything that was
Smaller.
sticking out, did they? Like I saw the big one.
I think
Obviously, the big one.
You saw like his like seat go.
Right.
So it's supposed to have like just gone right into his. It didn't come through him.
Okay.
It went through the seat into his back.
Okay.
But I guess
And
I guess when she's choking driving is when the other girl jumps in the driver's seat, the business girl.
Yeah.
because she's driving when the pipe almost goes into the back of her head, and she has like the log is through her leg.
No, it's
like
on top of her leg.
It's
No,
holding her down.
it's holding her down. It's pinned her down.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
Big
how funny was that kid who she asked for help, and then the guy's like yelling for his dad after the
Mickey,
kid's trying to help
Mickey
her.
that's Mickey from Shameless. That's like one of his like first roles in this.
They crashed into his property. It's like front yard.
There's a lot going on in that front yard.
This scene is awesome. And you know what's funny? Like Egan said before, like these movies being 93 minutes, and then you take the opening credits and the end credits. At this point, I didn't even realize, because again, they move so quick and you're so invested in it while you're watching. I'm like not even thinking, because this scene, we lose so many people like within this scene. And so good, dude. And the fact that when the just the way everything works out, like the van, the news is there quick. The
Very
news
quick.
is there to report this.
It makes
way
no sense.
Yeah. In the middle of nowhere. They're just like the people replacing the glass. Like they're ready on call for this doctor, the dentist. But the fact that they back up and the gas is perfectly pouring like down the pipe, going through the PVC pipe. And again, that's kind of a trickery, sort of, is at first you're like, oh man, this pipe, I've seen this pipe. It's in the car. It's going to go on the car and get the girl. But dude, honestly, how do they not cut the pipe?
I know.
If they see a pipe behind her head and she's like sort of like semi-flirting with the guy, and he's semi-flirting back to her. That's what makes it worse.
I don't think she was flirting. I mean, I think she was legitimately mad that it was so loud, the machine that he's using to save her. Because he says, "Can you be quiet?"
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? Out of all the people, she deserved to die.
Ooh, man.
Well, if you're gonna get mad at the guy who's trying to save you because his machine is too loud, and you're telling him to be quiet,
there's like a douchey character like that in all the movies.
Of course.
But why not cut the PVC, the sharp PVC behind her head? Which, oh my god, dude! And just the way how fast it happens, like he's sawing, and it's like, and you see it, like, oh my god,
chaos!
Pretty unfair.
It's complete chaos at this point. Yeah.
And the cokehead, just before it, the cokehead guy, his final words when he's just standing in the field are, "When I die, can you get rid of my drugs and my porn out?" What great final words.
Whatever will break my mom's heart.
Well, so when he dies, he's still together before he falls apart.
Oh, I love it.
But if that happened, would he still be like conscious? Because he seemed to really like have a reaction as he's split in thirds. He's in thirds right now. Before he fought.
You're gonna have a few seconds.
I don't know. I think when he dies, I think it's like
his head was intact.
That's it. Like he was split in thirds.
You cut a chicken's head off, it's gonna start like still,
but he's not a chicken
for a little bit.
He's not a chicken.
Yeah, no, you have a few seconds.
All right, I don't know.
Because it's literally he stands there, his arm falls off, and then he falls apart, and he's dead at that point. That's 3 seconds maybe.
He fell like a block of cheese. Like it was like 3 pieces of cheese.
That was another thing in the early 2000s. They loved
people are getting sliced.
Loved putting people into chunks. The first Resident Evil movie does it. This does it.
But it was like perfect chunks. Like it was like it was like perfect blocks. Yeah. Like it was a clean slice.
Well, you saw how fast that fence was moving.
Yeah.
I love it too.
So
it makes no sense. The explosion goes off, and the whole fence piece just goes
in a perfect straight, like
Those
like that.
Posts
Yeah,
just fly like straight out.
Yeah. Okay.
Good stuff. And then this is where so Eugene's getting taken to the hospital at this point because he survives, and this is where I told you the guy.
Wait, you're not going to talk about the girl's death? The driver.
Yeah, we just talked about that.
The airbag?
Yeah, we just talked about that. What were you
Oh,
doing?
we mentioned-
Did you nod off?
You mentioned the airbag?
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. He
He
sets off
Did
the
you?
airbag and the thing goes through her head. Yeah.
she's the douchey character.
No, I know,
Yes.
but I don't remember mentioning airbag at all. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well,
All
for
right.
those of you out there, the airbag goes off.
Yeah.
knocks her back. The pipe goes through her head. It's all within like half a second.
Yeah, and the guy
There's
has
no
no
way.
reaction.
Wait,
things.
there's no way the mention of airbag came up once.
Yeah, listen back.
Okay,
It's right around like
I'm
an
going to
hour,
listen back.
like
Okay.
hour and 33 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because
We
I said
kinda
like
ran
he had
through
no
it almost
reaction
as-
to it.
Okay.
Yeah, we ran through it almost as quick as it happens.
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
But yeah, so this is where Mickey's dad, the farmer's dad, is like, take my truck. And then at that point, when they get to the hospital, is like we mentioned earlier, is like this is where Death was like, all right, I got reservations at 6. Let me make sure I close these vents. I'm gonna open up all the pipes. And then we didn't mention it before, the one premonition when we saw like the van go into the water was we saw a doctor's name, Kalarjian. So that's their whole thing. When they get to the hospital, the cop and Kimberly are like, oh, we're going to look for Dr. Kalarjian. That's when Allie Larder clears like, oh, I'm going to look for Eugene. So they split up. And then when the baby's born,
but before the baby's born, the fact that the main character and the cop are able to get everywhere, including the delivery room.
which is
They were
crazy.
able-
'cause it's like 2 different people you have to talk to.
Ridiculous.
Where
And,
my
when
kids
there was a
born.
there was a code blue for the doctor. Before they were yelling for her, she was literally like walking down the hallway. She wasn't like
Yeah.
they were. I would think code blue means hurry your ass, get to where you need to go because someone's about to die.
Yeah,
She was taking her time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
she was fine. My breaks are my breaks. It's me time. Okay, Dr.
But the fact that they
Kalarjian.
were in the delivery room standing there, no one said anything.
Yeah, I know.
Ridiculous. And even after the baby was born, they're still standing there. Like the doctor's like, listen, you can't be there. Like they nothing.
Now, like, hey, who are you randos just staring here? Like, standing. And they're like, oh, this is great. And then what happens at that time? Because that's when the power went off and the emergency backup. And then it makes you think for like a half a second, like, oh my God, it worked. This crazy, God, Tony Todd, you crazy son of a bitch. It worked.
Well, you
And-
slowly see the vents opening up. You see,
Yeah.
the Eugene able to breathe easily after everything, happened. He's wide awake now at this point.
Yeah. And then that changes very quick because she has another premonition, right? Within like a second. And
Well,
she
it's the
sees it in a
same
different
one.
way.
I think she has a realization of what the premonition was.
No, she thinks back to what happened in the crash. And this
Right.
is when she notices that she was pulled over on the side of the road. So she wasn't going to die anyway. That's
Okay.
what makes her know like this wasn't
Right.
going to work
Okay.
anyway. Because she was pulled over at her van, I don't know, got a flat or something. Or
And okay, this is where she says, "I needed to die to save us."
yes.
So if she's going to die, then she's only saving one person. So her plan is to basically die to save one person left.
Well, before is Allie Larder still alive at this point when she's saying that?
No, because of the explosion. No, this
That happened before she said, I have to die.
Oh, I don't know. But yeah, but at this point, she doesn't know anything about Eugene and Allie Larder at all because she's not even near them.
Yeah, but and then she walks up to them like when she has that plan.
Oh, that's right.
And that's when
Right.
she sees Allie Larder. Dude,
Yeah.
Oh.
God, what a way to go. She gets there and there's like that door blocking the door so people can't see in. And she goes in. And when she opens the door and just the explosion happens, and then you just see her lifeless body charred, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
But
you know
she
what,
goes
though?
through with it.
Wait, hold on.
She
To be honest with
sealed
you, out of all the deaths, that seemed like the best one because she died instantly.
Yeah. Oh, for her. Yeah. As a
I'm saying for
person.
her, like out of all the deaths in this movie, they all look so painful and gross, and she looked like she just died instantly. So I would rather go that way.
Although the girl with the pipe through the head, that was instant. too.
That is true. She was
That
just
is
like
true.
smoking a butt. She was smoking
Oh.
her Winchester Field, and she was fine.
Okay.
And then she wasn't.
Okay.
It was that fast.
So her, Eugene, and Clear, they all have their instant.
Okay.
Well,
That is true.
Eugene, yeah, I guess Eugene's was a
Eugene
little bit
blows the
longer.
fuck up.
Yeah, he like the blowing up part is quick, but I'm saying like he was dealing
tortured
with
a
the
little bit.
pipes
Oh,
and
yeah.
the
Yeah, I
he
was
was
saying he-
tortured for a
The
little
machine
bit.
shut off.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Death didn't need to do the businesswoman, the pipe through the head, any favors. But maybe with Clear, he was like, game knows game. Respect from the first movie. You survived for a year. You did the old check yourself in the mental hospital. I respect it. So I'm going to take care of you pretty quick. But then from there, that's when they're like, screw it. We're going to, she runs out without the cop. She like runs away from him to steal the ambulance. And
Which
dude,
had the
lake
keys
is
in there. The keys are right there, I guess. She was able to.
And I love that the hospital was called Lake something, right? Because it made you know right away that she's gonna have a lake nearby. Yeah,
a
right
lake
in
nearby
front
that has
of
a
it.
ramp. Has a ramp that's going into the water. I mean, like, okay, so she knows she needs to go in the water. Does she really have to go off a ramp so far into the water that, like, because she literally told him to find the nurse or the doctor to save her. So wouldn't she try to make it a little easier for the guy? Like, you know, like, why try to go as far as you can? Like, just drive into the water. I mean, that would have been a lot easier. You know, no, let's go off this ramp that's built for a car at the end of the.
She went pretty far, and the cop.
did.
Oh my god, man! He was like a fish. He jumped right in. He got to her pretty quick.
He did, but I don't think he planned ahead because he brought nothing to break that window.
He did not. No, he did not. No. But the crazy plan of flatlining and dying and then being brought back, because Clarjane brings her back, she was alive.
Worked.
They worked.
Well,
It
did
doesn't
it?
quite make sense.
It doesn't make
No,
sense.
It doesn't.
It
and
works.
I thought-
Now, if that's okay, so like, what does she call it? Like the new life theory or whatever. It should work for her. Like, okay, she died, and she's been revived. So maybe that's like a reset for her. But why does it reset
For the cop
too? Just
correct.
yeah, it doesn't really. It should like they both should have gone in the water
Correct.
and been pulled out or something. You know.
But
I thought he
clearly,
was gonna
though,
die.
but he should have. I mean, he was under there a long time. So
yeah.
I mean,
No, I was just expecting that. Like once she survived, I expect like even in
And-
that final scene, something happening to him.
when you're in the water, I mean, he was swinging that gun pretty hard against the window. But you ever like you move your arm in the underwater? You can't move that fast. Like it's like slow motion when you're like, I don't know if you could swing a gun at a window, you know, while you're underwater.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, all right.
It doesn't
So-
work that way.
The rest of this movie, I don't understand what happens. I mean, so maybe Egan can
What,
explain.
the barbecue? What do you mean? Mickey gets saved by Rory,
Yeah.
our cokehead friend. So Death skipped Rory, and then Death is circling back.
So this is a continuous thing now. So if you're ever saved, so basically, what the movie tells you, if you ever have a close call, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what happened was that kid was supposed to die in that moment,
Right.
but because our characters were still alive, they didn't die in the accident. Rory was there to pull him out of the way, so that kid should have been dead.
So
But it doesn't quite make sense because the only reason
At all.
all those people are there is because our characters were there.
correct.
That is true. It wasn't like
So,
a
like-
happenstance. It
and-
was more
and
like
Yeah,
they were the
Who
reason
were
they
those
there.
people? Who were those people?
That was the farmers.
That's-
That was the people that the
Oh,
farm that they crashed on.
So they become friends now. They crash
They're-
on their
they're-
property. Now they're having a barbecue the next summer.
Yeah, because Rory saved their son,
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Because
and they had to return their truck and stuff.
I mean, I'd be
you know.
Yeah,
pissed.
they
They
finally
destroyed.
returned the truck.
They destroyed a lot of things in their property. Like I don't know if I'd be friends with everybody.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? The whole scene, like the wife invited him, and the son's happy to
Trauma
see him, but
brings
the old
people
man
together.
the old man's just like
He
slugging.
hands him a
his
bill.
farm.
Like here, okay. So here's all the the damages.
Just
You know that-
slamming beers back.
you know that
staring at them.
barbed wire fence that cut your buddy to 3. That thing cost a lot, man. That was some solid barbed wire that I got from England, man. Come on. But man, hey, can you check the barbecue? And Nikki friggin' explodes. I guess they stored their jet fuel under there too. Because man, and
You
the
know what?
arm landing on the mom's
Oh.
plate. Like, how do you live the rest of your life if that really did happen?
It's
I don't know
barbecue,
how
baby.
you. It's barbecue.
They have no problem killing kids in this movie. I mean, like, this is the second kid that dies gruesomely.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole first movie, it's all high school students.
Oh yeah, they
and
are
a
kids.
teacher.
Yeah.
They're like 17 years old.
Yeah, but like they're high school kids, like that are clearly look older. I mean, these are two young kids that died in this movie.
Yeah, these are actors that are really probably 16 or 17 versus the other ones. So they're probably 16, 17 playing 14, 13. But yeah. So that was Final Destination 2. We'll go to our horror sequel expert. Egan, would you recommend somebody to watch this movie?
Yeah. If you are a horror fan, a gore fan, it's sort of it's a supernatural slasher in a way. If you're into all that, I definitely recommend it. These are movies I don't watch that often because they are bleak. I think this movie actually has the happiest ending of the entire franchise. With a couple people making it out.
Wait a second. Wait, the happiest ending: a kid blows up in the last 5 seconds.
Yep,
that's a happy ending to you.
Our two main characters made it out okay. I think they're the only survivors of the entire franchise.
Oh, man.
Oh, that was my question to you. They there's nothing in 3, 4, 5 that say like Kimberly's dead.
No, I don't think so.
Because
are they in the other movies?
One.
Are they in any of the movies?
Not. And like I said, it's been a long time since I watched 3, 4, and 5, and I've only seen those once. Where I've seen the first 2 a couple times. Bring
him back.
I think
him back
these
for the
two
new
get
one
out unscathed, and because all the other ones, it's either everyone's dead at the end, or it's alluded to that they're not going to survive much longer.
Okay.
But yeah, I definitely recommend this one. I suggest watching the first one because so much of this is tied to the first one, and I think 1 and 2 are probably like the best made as far as like horror, quote horror cinema. Yeah, definitely recommend it. 3 is my favorite though because it's kind of even more fun than this one.
I may have to watch that tonight. I might have to get
I might throw it on tomorrow. Yeah.
Queued up. Egan, thanks again for joining us. Jamie, would you recommend this movie?
I would. I don't recommend too many. But I don't remember the first one as much. And I think that even if you'd never seen any of them, I say you can still watch this. I mean, it's got its own story. Whether you understand a lot of the backstory, it's still an entertaining watch. As gory as the kills are, they're actually fun to watch because they're so creative and no, I think it's a good worthy sequel, and I think it's one of those rare sequels that could be maybe better than the first one or just as good. So no, I definitely think you should watch this whether you've seen the other ones or not. This is definitely worth a watch.
Agreed. This movie crushed too. $26 million budget, did like 91 million worldwide, and
I would say that if for all the movie, if anyone mentions Final Destination, there's so many iconic kills. The one that comes up all the time is the logs. Like that's one that I feel like everybody remembers. I mean, there's a lot of crazy ones. I know that, again, the roller coaster, you have the Indy 500, you have, and again, I don't know any iconic ones later on, but the logs is the one that everybody talks about.
Yeah. Jeffrey told me during the interview that he gets tagged like once or twice a week. I tagged him last night when I was watching it. But awesome. No, like once or twice a week, just of that scene. The fact that really happened, like they were trying to figure out what the opening would be. He was visiting, he was back home in Kentucky, pulled off the side of the road and like called, said, "Hey, this should be the opening scene." And like, that's what fueled the movie. But yeah, dude, these movies are great. I agree with Egan. Like the first 2 are so put together. I have to watch. I remember the roller coaster. I don't remember the Indy one too much, but yeah, you got it.
I think a big tire goes up the hill and crushes someone. That's if I remember correctly. I mean, I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's like it's like a NASCAR race.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I'll tell you, I'm not.
That's the best part of that movie is the opening. It's unfortunately I found it kind of it's like boring. It's
Well, I don't remember it. I think
yeah.
I'm gonna try to get someone for 5 though, because Egan said there is like a little twist, and I like that. So I'm not gonna watch that one until I figure out if I can find someone. So I'm on it.
I mean, you could aim for Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She's in 3.
Okay.
3 has some somewhat big names in it.
Okay.
Like those first 2 did.
Let me see what I can do.
Jamie will give it a shot. So that is Final Destination 2. And our next sequel.
Am I going to do a hall pass?
Oh, wait.
You a hall pass.
A what?
A what?
A what?
A hall pass.
I'm very interested in this because when we like introduced this idea, Jamie like said so many times without saying what it was. Oh, I got the perfect one. And he's like, oh, I'm going to change it. I got the perfect one. I'm going to change it. So I'm very interested to.
Okay. So first of all, I think your hall pass was awful. And I don't know if you did that to like mess with me, because we know that Doug, I can't stand the franchise for Fast and the Furious, and Doug picked what I think was a horrendous movie to watch. So I'm going to tell you what my first choice was. I was going to do Exterminator 2.
Okay.
I never seen it, but then I did some thinking, and I think this one would be very appropriate and timely.
Oh, so Superman 4?
Superman? What?
Oh, Indiana Jones.
I'm gonna do Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
So I think, I've tried to get people from the movie. I was thinking about Crystal Skull because it's so awful that would be a good one to do. But I think maybe eventually we could probably get someone from that. But I think we're due for a really good movie, and Temple of Doom is awesome. So, and you have the new Indiana Jones coming out soon.
I like it.
So I figured I'm thinking of us, and I think time, and I think let's do Temple of Doom. We have to do Indiana Jones.
It's funny
I can't believe you said Superman, by the way. I mean, that's embarrassing.
It's both John Williams themes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. John Williams.
They are similar, but okay.
Similar horns going on there.
Yeah,
I do have.
Yeah,
I have an Indiana Jones hot take for you guys.
Oh,
what is it? You like? I saw you post about it. You like Kingdom? Are you Skull over this?
I'd rather watch Temple of Doom. I think Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is a better made movie. Aside from a few bad moments, I rewatched all 4 of them last year. If you cut out a couple moments, I think it's a better movie.
Okay. Egan, I'm going to tell you that
maybe because Temple of Doom is crazy racist, it's hard for me to watch it.
I don't remember it being racist, so I mean, I remember it being so over the top. But when I saw Shia LaBeouf swinging on a vine, I'm like, I'm done with this movie.
That's one of like 3 things. If you, it's like stuff that could easily be removed, and that movie would jump up in a lot of people's opinions.
But I think part of the problem also is because that movie and because of those things like that, the vine swinging scene, a lot of people have only seen it one time. Like I think I've only seen it once, so I don't know the movie at all. Like I can't tell you the plot, I can't tell you the movie. But if like those scenes really turned me off of the movie, that I'd never watch it again.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. Yeah, no, I mean, like obviously, like Raiders, I've seen 1,000 times, right?
Classic.
Last Crusade is probably my second most watched. Temple of Doom, I didn't watch a lot as a kid because I didn't really like it, and I think when I was younger, some of the more gruesome stuff in it, my mom was like, let's watch the other ones,
the heart ripping scene.
Yeah, stuff like that. And then the 4th one I saw in the theater, and then I think I've seen it twice since then. So once probably like on DVD when it first came out, and then the one time last year when I rewatched all 4 of them because I was home with COVID.
Well, I always find the second one is a little comic-y, throughout with what's her face, Kate Capshaw or whatever.
Oh, she's unbearable.
Yeah, but
She is unbearable, and
she is. She's annoying throughout the whole movie. But it is to me like it is a class. It's a young indie. It is a class. Everybody talks about Temple of Doom. It's so over the top, and I just figured, you know what, we got to do an Indiana Jones, and I think it's hard to get someone from this movie, so let's do it.
Yeah. We thought we did. We thought Eddie Yang.
I know,
but he was like, "Oh no, I would have been 12 then." But at 17, he's working on Predator, so not too far off that he was able to do stuff like that. But so Jamie's Hall Pass, I like it. Very doing franchises that people love. So Temple of Doom, it's on Disney Plus. I'm sure. Egan, where else is that?
It's on Disney Plus and Paramount Plus.
Look at that. You got it all covered. The Disneys, the Paramounts,
maybe Hulu.
So
definitely those two though, Disney and Paramount.
Sweet. So Temple of Doom, so that's your homework. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys.